The matrix everybody lives in is the third dimension. Let's keep this simple. People, Earth is in the third dimension, and we are in the dark, coming up to 4. We're probably, a lot of people are in the 4th dimension today. And the 4th dimension is utter darkness. It's scary, and you have to go by Braille because you really don't know anything. And you're beginning to realize that. And if you can get through that, you will pop up into the 5th dimension for simple terms. And when you are in the 5th dimension, you are above the 3rd and 4th, and you can see all. You can see what's going on. And I can see now why everybody hates me. I can see why my family hates me, my granddaughter, and anybody who really gets to know me. I can see. Yeah, it's not because I'm in the divine light. No. It's because they think I'm a liar. And they have every right to think I am a liar. I realize what a liar I appear to be. Did you ever see the movie Sophia? I think it's called Sophia. Sophia. It's a movie about a woman who had multiple personality disorder. That's what they called it. Or today I think they call it dissociative disorder. And that is where the person has multiple personalities. And I did not ever want to watch that. It really bothered me, actually. I just didn't want to watch it because apparently she was sexually traumatized and broke apart into these different personalities, right? And I really didn't want to read about her childhood. I don't like to read shit like that. And probably the reason is because I was living shit like that in my own house since my stepfather came in when I was in grade 2 for the first time. I became a survivor of extreme sexual trauma starting in grade 2. My stepfather began trafficking me. He would introduce me to men. He would take me on he was a long-haul truck driver, and he would take me on his trips. And I believe he would drug me. I don't know, because I don't have memory. And this has happened to me throughout my life, guys, where I'm living a normal life, I think, and I'll say something. Like I said when I was in my 30s, I said, I'm so proud of myself. I never had a car accident. I have a clean driver record. I've never been in an accident. I said that. And my younger brother, who lives in Cranbrook, where I lived at the time, said, "Yeah, you did." I said, "No, I've never. I've always had it in my mind, and I have never, Darren, been in an accident." And I was very annoyed with him. Why is he saying that I was in an accident? And he said, "Cheryl, and he told me the intersection of where that accident happened. And it was near my townhouse. And my brother isn't a liar. He's not. But I sure looked like one, didn't I?" So I wanted to tell you that I believe yesterday I discovered that I have this problem, and I have memory gaps, and I may say something that isn't true because I don't remember it. So here we go. Remember yesterday I did a video and I said I was by this Hope chest my dad built me, and inside is a special treasure for me in the divine light. And it's a beautiful place, and I have my father with me. I do, and my son. I'm a very highly spiritual, intuitive woman since 2016, September. I was just blessed with the light came to me and told me everything, gave me the big picture so that I could work down into the details and figure out my story. I have a completely different story than the one that I thought I was living. That's a fact. So that is Conway Twitty. That is Conway. He was born Harold Lloyd Jenkins. His real name was Harold Lloyd Jenkins, Jenkins. That name is familiar to me. I have two people on Facebook named Jenkins who follow me. And one of them, named Anne Jenkins, keeps encouraging me. You know, she paints rocks. And I don't know, for some reason, she is really stuck in my brain. And then recently, another Jenkins has shown up. He doesn't engage with me, but I see his name. And I know that Conway Twitty, who I know personally, or I met, I'm not going to say I know him yet, but I know I met him. I know I met him. I met him through a photographer who lived in Shaughnessy area of Vancouver. That's like around, like Gravel and Oak, you know, in between that grid is a very wealthy area. And he and his mother were renting a suite in one of those mansions, this photographer that I dated for a while. And he invited me to go to the Newton Inn. I was 18 because my baby was 6 months old. Oh, I know how I met him. I called him to photograph my baby. I wanted a photograph. And it's the photo of me at 18 holding my baby. It's in black and white, and it's a very, very stunning photo, really. I look beautiful. And I sort of kept it because I never really felt beautiful, but this photo was just stunning. And I remember the photographer invited me to the Newton Inn. Now, he really wasn't my type. He was a bit older than me, and he wasn't my type. And I told him, he said, "I'll just come along with me." And I went upstairs to a woman. I lived in an apartment in Whalley, Surrey, British Columbia. And I went up to the apartment of my Egyptian friend where I babysat her twins when she went to work at a Greek restaurant. And she came from Egypt. And I went up and I asked her if I could borrow an outfit to go to this Newton Inn because the photographer said Conway Twitty was going to be there. And I loved country music. So we went through her closet and I got this beautiful pleated skirt and this shimmery sleeveless top blouse and my hair put up, makeup put on, and I got this photograph done, and then I went out like Cinderella, really. And I remember Helena saying, she said, "You're so beautiful." I just couldn't believe it because I never felt it. I never saw it. And my baby was 6 months old at the time. And I was an unwed mother. Father had abandoned me. So I was trying to do it on my own. And at the time, I was on welfare. And I had not yet gone to school. So I was pretty ignorant. But I went out to the Newton Inn with the photographer, and get this, he wanted to go to Shaughnessy first to introduce me to his mother. This photographer can't even remember his name. And we went to Shaughnessy. I went into one of the mansions and said hello to his mother. And then we went back to Surrey, back to the Newton Inn, where we had our date, and he was going to be the photographer for the Conway Twitty Band. And I was his guest. And then after the band, we went to the band's room because he was continuing to work and take photos. And so I was at a private party with Conway Twitty's band and the photographer. It was all very safe. Nothing bad happened to me. All that I remember. You never know now because I do have memory blackouts. But what I do remember is the truth. Trust me, I do not lie. Like when I'm in the fifth, I sure as shit don't lie. You're not going to get to the fifth if you lie, okay? The only way to pop up through the dark is to be 100% honest with yourself and with everyone. You say what you mean, and you mean what you say. You don't go out and tell people one thing and think another, you know? You don't say, oh, I'm fine, and you're not. Or you don't say, I like you, and you don't like them. You say what you mean, and you mean what you say when you want to live in the fifth dimension. And it takes a practice because we're used to protecting people's feelings. But it is not protecting people's feelings. You are going to be found out that you had different thoughts than what you said. And if you have different thoughts to what you say, you will not get to the fifth. Understood? So, I don't lie, and I can stay in the fifth, but more and more details are coming to me in this realm. Like this is my dad. This is Conway Twitty. This is the same age they were when I was I was 18 around my dad's age here. And Conway, that looks like him when I met him. And I don't remember my dad being around at all. I don't. But he's about the same age. And the band is there playing in the background. Kind of looks like the Newton Inn. My dad's there. I'm there. But I don't remember my dad being there. And that's where things, I look like a liar or some kind of crazy bitch or something. So I have empathy for people. I can understand how and why they feel the way they feel when I get it. And I get it now. Like, when I'm so full of contradictions and have these memory gaps of my personal journey, I want you to know that anything I have posted on YouTube is me in the coming up from the bottom of the fifth, let's say, because I was visited by beings of light and my deceased son, who is the twin flame of my father. And all of that is true. Everything I say is true, or I couldn't be in the fifth, right? But what I'm saying is I have memory gaps, and that's why people think I'm a liar. And what happened was yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, I was sitting on the sofa there, and this was on the floor. Like, spirit matter can move. I've had things go missing. I've had dimes drop, feathers, like matter can be moved by our spirit world. I don't know how. I'm not, I don't know everything. But I know I was sitting there, and it was just below the hope chest my dad had built me, and this photo popped out, and these memories came flooding back. And then I got confused about how is my dad in this photo. I want you to know my dad is a very good man who I misjudged based upon the word of my mother, who was full of rage. She was. I had a lucid dream. Lucid dreams are real, huh? And I picked her as a mother for whatever reason. I had a reason to. I just am not privy to that right now. But I did have a reason to choose her. And I followed her as a spirit when she was a child. And I saw her home, and then I was taken to, I can only call it outer space. It was on a platform, and there were 4 cartoon-like looking, like they weren't human. They were just empty blue, shapes, right? Empty blue shapes that were going to become human. And they were facing the other direction where I couldn't see the front of them. But I was in the back of them, facing the same direction. And there were 4 of them, from tallest to shortest. And the tallest was on the right, and the shortest was on the left. And then I heard a male voice, and it said, "Who will bear the brunt of her anger?" And the second one, blue outfit, to the right, raised a hand. You see, I'm not raising my hand. I'm a spirit behind her. But this being did. She raised her hand. As soon as she raised her hand to agree to bear the brunt of the anger of that 10-year-old, my spirit slipped into hers body. And that's why I consider myself a walk-in of sorts. Because of that, I figured that out a couple of years ago, that I hijacked a body to do my mission, which I know I created with my soulmate. And we planned out our journey step by step, and we named roads, we named people, we named countries, all sorts of things to trigger us. We knew we would lose our memory coming here to Earth again. We knew it. Like I told you, our past lives, who we were, and I was not lying. But we knew what's going on. We all know what's going on Earth. The only people that don't know what's going on Earth are the third dimension people, the Matrix, because they're stuck in a prison that they are building, based on worshiping outside of themselves, not trusting their own senses, stepping out of their own consciousness to have belief, which the word lie is in, belief in others. So you're turning over your free will to others. And I'm just here to tell you that when you're in the divine light, you do not need a clock. Everything is on time and perfect.